Hey guys, it's Jordan here from SwitchWatch. How are you all doing today? Now today's review is of Gunbird 2 on the Nintendo Switch, yet another Psikyo shooter from Zero Div. Now I was very excited about this one because, as you know, I love shmups, and I loved the original Gunbird when it was released on the Switch last year, so hopefully this one is just as good. Let's get on with it. Gunbird 2 has a lot to live up to, at least for me. When it comes to the wealth of shooters on the Nintendo Switch, there are plenty of standouts. Amongst the Psikyo range, one of them stands above the rest for me, and that is Gunbird. It may not be the best, but there was something really special about it, and despite the likes of Tengai being technically better, it's still my favourite. Now that Gunbird 2 is out, I was so excited to see how the sequel turned out. Released half a decade later when the company was on the wane, could it live up to it or improve on the original? The story of Gunbird 2 follows a very similar path of the original. 5 daring heroes are called up, this time to appease the potion god, by providing the essence of the sun, the moon and the stars for him in order to obtain a special magical potion, which can grant them any wish they want. It's obviously bare bones, but I really enjoy this kind of story integration more than how they tried in Soul Divide. Between stages you have your usual character quips, as well as the frequent showdowns with the pirates, which actually add a lot of character to the game. Best of all are the multiple endings available, all of which are worth seeing. Compared to other games, the story is of course a little weak, but for a 10-minute arcade shooter, it's a nice succinct effort. The gameplay plays very similar to many Psikyo shooters, especially of the vertical kind. Hold down that autofire and blast the waves of enemies to bits. It's classic and so satisfying. Now what I love about Gunbird 2 and most Psikyo shooters in general is the great amount of variety. With 5 characters to choose from, and maybe more to unlock, all of them are highly varied. You battle your way through 7 short stages until you blast away the final boss. It's all very self-explanatory if you've ever played a shooter game before. But there are some things to be aware of. For a start, this is not just a sprite swap for the original Gunbird. They've added features as well as taken away at least one of the lesser enjoyable aspects of the first. You have the standard shoot button, but you'll probably want to hold down the auto fire button for the most part. Holding down the normal fire button will instead produce a special attack. Think of it like a charge shot. This uses up the newly implemented power gauge, which charges up while enemies are destroyed. This is fairly powerful and usually more encompassing, affecting a wide range of enemies at a time. Mapped to the X button, there is another kind of special attack which is sort of like a short range melee attack. This is very powerful, but obviously fairly risky since you do need to get super close to enemies to use it successfully, increasing your chance of taking a bullet. Finally, you have the power bomb, which is the panic move to protect you from all incoming projectiles, as well as dealing heavy damage to enemies. Definitely save these for those truly perilous moments. It's glorious fun, smashing through scores of enemies, tightly squeezing through bullet waves, desperately clawing out for those power-ups and bombs. There's just something so satisfying about how it all comes together in Gunbird 2. The enemies are distinctive and easily remembered between plays. I often find that most of my troubles with these hardcore shmups is the memorization, but Gunbird 2 doesn't rely too heavily on that, and those enemies that do need to be remembered are easily definable after a playthrough or two. I think one of the aspects that drew me towards the original Gunbird than its brethren was the fact that it was just a tad more accessible in the difficulty department. On the normal setting, I could just about squeeze through the game without relying on adding more continues. It was tough, but fair. Gunbird 2 is very much on par with the original, making it possibly the most accessible Psikyo shooter around. If you thought the other games were unfairly tough, even on the lowest difficulty, then Gunbird 2 may just be the solution that you need. Balanced appropriately, even those not quite up to the usual challenge can easily get through the lowest difficulty without having to rely on heading into the options to boost the amount of lives and continues. I'm pretty terrible at these games, even though I love them, and I managed to play through this one without dying once. After my first dozen tries, of course. That's not to say it's a walk in the park either. It provides a tough but fair challenge the more you crank up the difficulty, and even the most veteran of shmup players will be put to the test in the upper levels. Of course, you can choose to edit the amount of lives that you have and continues, which is nice to be able to experience and learn the more difficult parts of the game. It lacks a certain amount of customization you may be used to with the Neo Geo ports, but you really have all you need here. It does lack online leaderboards, which is a shame, making the only competition between you and yourself. It would be nice if Zero Div could start rolling out some sort of online functionality, because I know people, especially Juan, who live and breathe online competition. Now, as with all Psikyo shooters, Gunbird 2 is a very short game when taken at face value. You're looking at a tight 12 to 15 minutes for one successful run through the game. That's not long, and you may be forgiven for thinking that's way too short this day and age, but looking at it from a different perspective, it's perfect for the arcade setting, it's perfect for learning the game, and it's perfect for quick bursts here and there. I honestly prefer this shorter style of shooter compared to the longer drawn out ones. It's densely packed fun, and having it an hour long could potentially take out a lot of the impact away. It's short and to the point, never outstaying its welcome. Visually, the game is just absolutely sublime, stunning in every way. While the original looked pretty lovely, the 5-year stretch between them has made the difference, especially in the backgrounds, which look fantastic. Lovingly detailed as you would expect. The visuals are crisp and clear and really pop off the TV and the Switcher screen. It's nice and colourful with lots of variety in stages, despite the small roster. Of course, you can turn your Switch on its side to take advantage of the Switch's vertical versatility that the system provides. Or of course, you could just do what I do and turn my TV around to play the game in all its glory. For the music, we've got something pretty nice. It's more on the whimsical side of things to match the theme of the game and the light-hearted wackiness that it provides. It's my second favourite musical style for shmups, as I do prefer a good chugging, grungy guitar going on like in Steriden, but this style obviously matches Gunbird 2 much better. I really like it, even if tracks between stages aren't overly noticeable, they kind of all sound the same, even if they aren't. To add a small point to the audio critique, the sound effects aren't overbearing, which is always a danger in these more repetitive kind of games. For value, Gunbird 2 is great for your buck. At £6.99, the almost endless replayability of the 15-minute or so run-throughs is great value in my opinion. With each character having multiple endings, plus a special ending for different combinations of two characters playing together, Gunbird will last you hours. Then there's a challenge of increasing your high score, as well as notching up the difficulty to improve your mastery of the game. I genuinely have no idea how much it would cost for a real arcade unit, but it's certainly a much more convenient option to have it on your Switch. This is even cheaper than the Dreamcast game by a decent way. Overall, for me, Gunbird 2 is an absolute classic for shmup fans. It combines satisfying Psikyo gameplay with lots of variety, personality, audio and visual design. It's also the most accessible of the shooters that I've played, but still provides a fantastic challenge. Gunbird 2 has done almost the impossible for me and trumped the original. It has the same great feeling, but with extra mechanics that really step it up. If Gunbird 1 was a 9 to me, then Gunbird 2 is an easy 9.5. Okay guys, thank you ever so much for watching this review of Gunbird 2. I, Juan and James, very much appreciate you being here, especially if you take time to smash that like button, leave a comment, and best of all, subscribe and watch our content. We're growing very nicely and it's all thanks to you. Don't forget to click that little bell button next to the subscribe one so you can get all the reviews and gameplay straight away and not miss a thing. Finally, don't forget to head over to the website switchwatch.co.uk for news, reviews and features. It's always worth a daily look. I've been Jordan from SwitchWatch and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.